Hello guys, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be looking at the Englund Gambit, a very tricky and an aggressive gambit. However, the gambit is very unsound. If you know how to play against the gambit, you have a very good chance of coming out of the opening with a completely winning position. However, if you don't know how to play against the gambit, there's a very good chance that you're going to mess everything up and lose very quickly. So without further ado, let's dive into the opening. We'll be looking at what the black player actually wants or think they will get when playing the opening. And actually, many people fall into this opening trap. First, you go with the queen's pawn opening and they offer you a pawn immediately. You can decide to protect the pawn if you want to, but there's no need for that. Just capture the pawn and it's already +1 now. They attack the pawn this way and you defend the pawn this way. They add another attacker with their queen. Now they are threatening to capture the pawn, and in this position there are several things you can try. You can play this move. We'll get into many of these variations later on in the video. You can play this move, which is what we'll do now. So we'll play this move, which is the main line of the opening, and black goes this way. This is all standard opening theory, hitting this bishop, playing this and hitting this. In this position you can decide to retreat this bishop back, which is the best move in the position, which is what I would recommend you play. However, there's also a slight variation where you can actually give up this bishop by going this way, and after the capture here, you capture here and you are hitting this and you are threatening a fork this way. But that's not what I'm going to recommend. That's not what I'm going to recommend. I recommend you simply retreat your bishop, and then they capture here, threatening to pick up this rook. And in this position, this is the critical position, and I'll show you how you can actually go wrong. And the only way you can go wrong here is by playing this move, protecting your rook this way. And now if you play this move, black goes this way, they pin your bishop to your king, and you can't capture here. Even if you wish to, you can't capture there. So now you have limited option. You can actually capture here, or you add another defender to your bishop. Let's look at if you capture here. Black simply capture, and now they are threatening to go here, hit this and hit this, and there's a few moves you can play to save your bishop, to save your rook. However, while saving your rook, you are actually going to lose a piece. You can play this move and black simply just capture it, and they have a completely winning position. If you decide to play this move, well, that's even worse, as black can play this move and this would have been a smarter checkmate if not for your queen. And after they capture here, they are left with a completely winning position. So let's go back, and if you add another defender by playing queen to c2, they simply capture here, and if you capture this way, they just capture this rook with check, and they are left with a completely winning position. It's +5 points of material for black. So if you decide to capture with your queen to keep protecting against this rook, well, that's even a bigger blunder, as this is just checkmate in one. So this is the main line of the gambit for black side. There's also some tricky sideline, which I will also show you as we go into the video. So now let's look at what you should do. So we are going to repeat everything I just showed you. However, there's a subtle difference and the opening that you observe later on. And in this position, they add a defender. You defend against it, and they goes here, check, you defend, and they pick up this pawn. And here is the very important stage of the game. So instead of going this way to protect your rook, which you just reviewed in the previous analysis, you go this way and you are protecting this rook this way. And black can try a few things. However, black is completely losing. Black can actually goes this way, which is what you see most often. You simply play a move like this, hitting the queen. The queen step into the square, and you can go this way if you wish to, but I recommend you go this way. Now you are threatening to capture here, and many players would simply just pick up this. You capture here, and some players will just capture here, threatening to capture here. So if you go here now, we check, which is a fork. They just move closer to your knight, and you can't defend both of these pieces at the same time. So you end up being the one losing. So instead of doing any of that, you just go back, and in this position, the only move and the best move for black to continue holding on to the game, even though they are already completely losing, is to play a move like this. And they are just keep holding on to the pawn and staying away from any kind of nasty fork. However, you are not done yet. This is the best move. You can just go for this, which is the best move, but that's not actually what I will recommend. That's not what I will recommend. I will recommend the second best move, which is this move. Now you are threatening to go here, capture this pawn, and that will also be a new fork on this and this. And black is left with a few options. They can go here to protect it this way. So, and they can go here to protect this way. So we'll examine both of those. So if they play this move, trying to hold on this way, you just go here, hitting this, and you are threatening all kinds of attack. You are also threatening here. And if the knight moves away, you just go here and you are just picking up the rook. So they can try a move like this, but you are not done attacking. You sacrifice your knight like a GM. And notice this, if they capture the knight, you give a check here. Now the king is forced to this square. Literally, it's just forced to this square. And now you love your rook to be able to get into this square. So how do you do it? You can pause the video if you wish to. Well, you simply sacrifice your second knight like a GM, and after the capture, this move is just a beautiful checkmate. So going back, so if they notice this and decide to leave your knight alone and they just step away from this, you throw in this check, and after a move like this, you attack their queen, and the queen would have been trapped. The queen would have been trapped if not for this move. And after they go this way, you just capture here, and after they capture here, you pick up their rook, and you are up 4 points of material, and you should easily win this game. So what if they try knight to h6, protecting against this like this? Well, you can play this move, which is a very, very tricky move. Black can capture this way, and after they capture this way, you sacrifice your knight, and if they capture this way, you can just step backward, and on the next move, this is a discovered attack on the king, and you are also threatening to pick up their queen, and regardless of what they play next, you just pick up the queen and look at the position. You are just completely crushing. In this position, after finding a move like this, some players will simply just give up their queen and hope for the best. Well, you are completely winning. You just have to find some accurate moves, and after the capture here, you play g3, you fianchetto your bishop and just castle, and you are up a queen and should easily win this game. After the move knight to d5, we have already examined what we play after the capture here. What if they play this move, simply protecting against the fork here? We play e4, and they can actually develop a piece like this. We develop our bishop and just look at the position. We are just doing very fine. If they decide to capture here, we just simply capture back and just look at the position. We have good control of the center. Our pieces are just doing very well. Our rook is putting pressure here. This knight has to move, and we are just going to castle on the next move, and we are doing very fine, and it's +2 according to the engine. Instead of playing bishop to b4, there's another tricky move black can go for, which is knight to b4. They are threatening to just capture here, and we will have to give up our queen. So we have to protect against this square, but not with our rook. If you protect with your rook, it's still a good move, but you lose most of the advantage. So instead, we protect with our knight, and now black can double down on their move by hitting our knight with their pawn. Well, they are attacking a piece, so what do? We attack another piece of a higher value. We are hitting their queen, so now the queen has to step away. Then we go this way, we are hitting the queen again, and the queen also has to move, and the only safe square for the queen is this move, because if the queen goes here, we just go here, and that's a royal fork. We just fork everything in their position. So they have to play a move like this, and after going this way, we kick the knight. The knight has to move away. Knight, where are you going to? And after the knight goes this way, we go this way, and we are hitting the queen, and we are threatening all kinds of fork, and we are just completely winning in this position. So let's look at another tricky line again for black in this gambit. Another tricky line. This one is not really the main line, but it's a tricky line that you can end up losing very quickly if you are not paying attention and if you have not seen it before. So we go with the queen's pawn opening as usual. They proceed, we capture, they attack it, and now we defend it. And now instead of attacking it again with their queen, they simply go this way. I'll show you what to do when you encounter this. If you capture this way, they simply capture this way, and now they are lining up this, and they have some really legitimate threat. So you can absent-mindedly just play like this, trying to free up the diagonal for your bishop. And now they simply pin this knight. And after you unpin the knight, they just play a move like this. And after you castle, they simply castle. And if you are not paying attention in this position and you simply develop your knight like this, well, they just capture here. And after you capture back, you have just lost your queen. And black is left with a completely winning position. So let me show you what to do instead of going for this line where your queen will be really uncomfortable. So in this position, instead of capturing this pawn and allowing all this and all I just showed you, you go here, hitting the queen, and if they like, they can push the queen away, but the best move here is just to develop this, and you capture here, and after the capture, you simply develop your piece, and they can proceed with development, and you are just up a pawn, and you are just chilling, and you have a very decent and the winning position. So after capturing in the center, another try for black is to simply push their pawn forward, and this is called the solar gambit. So what you don't want to do here is capture here with this pawn. You have already taken a single pawn, so just be satisfied with that pawn. So instead of capturing another pawn, we simply develop our pawn to e4, and this pawn position is very tricky. If black just decide to capture here, well, black is just completely losing. First we go queen to h5 check, a check on the king, and they have to block this way, because if they did not block this way, it's just checkmate in a few moves. Let's say they decide to step forward, we pick up this pawn, we check. Now the king is forced to this square, we give another check here, and now the king is forced into this square, and this move is just a beautiful checkmate. So going back, they block with their pawn, and you give a check here, and regardless of what they play, you pick up the rook in the corner, and you are just crashing through. You are just completely winning. They can give a check here, but well, it's just a check. You can just block. You can block with your bishop if you wish to. As you can block with your bishop, they can try to do this, and if they do this, well, black is just done. You can just go here, and you have a lot of piece developed. You are protecting, defending the rook in the corner. This is also defended, and you are just crashing through. You are just completely winning. These are some of the common lines I have faced while playing the Englund Gambit. If you have anyone that you would like me to analyze, you can just let me know in the comment section. If you have any lines that you have seen in your games and you would like me to analyze, just let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.